Hi, welcome. I just wanted to pop on live today because I've been having these burning thoughts that I really want to share. So, if you feel like you have everything, every reason to be happy, but you're still not happy, or if you feel like your life looks good on paper or from the outside, but inside you just don't feel like you're living the kind of life that you want to be living. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the life that you're living, but you just don't feel happy. You don't feel that fulfillment, that joy. So this is kind of like an epidemic, I think, that's going on right now. And I think the reason is because we are in a time and an age where we are bombarded by so many things. We have so many opportunities. We have so many messages. We have so many responsibilities because technology has allowed us to do this. It's great. We can be in touch. We can talk to each other virtually across the world. Our bosses or our clients can message us throughout the night. Yay! But and there's so much opportunity to learn. You can go online and see anything you want. I want to see what it's like to travel to some remote place in India, and like bam, documentary. Like there's a lot of opportunity, but then there becomes like choice paralysis. And basically what all of this is doing is creating a lot of mental clutter and I think chaos. And when you combine that with your life's responsibilities, like if you have kids, for example, and a pressing job, or you're trying to run your life, also trying to be healthy and whatever, then it's really hard to kind of like juggle all this information and these priorities. So you can really get lost. And that's why I teach the fulfilled life method. Those of you who are in my ecosystem, you know that I just ran my first clarity day a couple weeks ago, which it was awesome. I know it's mine, so I'm not allowed to say that, but I was really, really beautiful and fantastic. And that's a process that I do with clients where usually it takes like between 2 to 6 months to really get clear on what you wanted of life. And why it takes that long, or in the clarity day it takes about 5 hours, but still, why does it take so long to just figure out what you want to do? I think it's because you have so much clutter, like so much information, and just being constantly bombarded with all this, and combined with little sleep, because a lot of us are sleep deprived. You don't have that time to reconsolidate your memories and to clean your brain out, your glymphatic system to be refreshed and really. And how many of us actually take the time to like take a full day, like a week or a few hours, where we're just like in a zen place and just kind of like having a high view of our life and what's going on and what we want to do next, and plan. It's a really good practice. I recommend it. But I think not a lot of us get the time to do that, or make the time to do that. And this actually brings me to what I want to talk to about actually today. So I just taught my master class on my follow through formula for fulfillment. And what that is like it teaches you about the psychology of how your psychology and your environment influence the results you get. So really it's the second pillar of my fulfilled life system. The first pillar is clarity, the second pillar is strategy, like how to execute, and the last pillar is mastery. And but the thing was, like, 'cause I got a lot of interesting questions and stuff with this masterclass, because here's the thing. Most of us, when it comes like to the topic of being fulfilled and being happy, right? When we go online and we look up like what can help us, how to be happy, how to be fulfilled, I think a lot of the stuff that comes up is like, well, learn to be in the present moment, learn to have more time for yourself, more time with loved ones, spend time on the things that really matter, meditate, right? And if you could just sit down and meditate for 40 minutes to an hour every day, I'm a strong advocate of that. And I've said it before, like if you could do that, it would literally solve probably 90% of your problems, if not all. Like you would be super happy, you'd be a lot healthier, and like go ahead and do that. If you can do that, do that. Stop watching social media. Okay. And I say that not jokingly, but seriously, but also jokingly, because I personally understand that it is hard to go from this busy, chaotic life to just like finding time an hour a day to meditate. And that is one way, but it is not the only way that you can get more happiness and fulfillment in your life. And so here's the thing that I want to explain. In the follow through formula, it's like that I teach. It's really about mastering the psychology of like implementation, like how to get it done, like, and how to master your psychology, the things that get in the way. Like sometimes it's confidence. Sometimes it's well, hold on. I want to say a caveat first, because I work with a lot of high achievers, a lot of, I am type A personality, high achiever, and people who actually can get things done. So like, Viv, I don't need help to get more things done. My problem is I get too many things done and I don't have time for what really matters. Or I don't even know what I really want, right? But then I circle back to this, right? Because if you are this like a person who is really good at doing things, or even if you're not, because it is human psychology, we still have this way of not prioritizing those other things, like learning how to be present and actually taking time for ourselves and actually taking care of ourselves. And we can hear these things over and over again. But this is the psychology trip up. Okay, this is what I talk about when I say mastering the psychology of getting results, like the follow through formula that I keep talking about. It's about learning what those little pieces inside our brain are that cause us to self sabotage, procrastinate, not follow through, not just on the important things, but especially on the personal things. And I'm not saying, and I said that like, okay, those aren't important. Those are massively important, but in our minds, we don't make them so important. And that is part of the problem, right? So that's what I was teaching, was like, not only that, but also how do we use our superpower of like, because when we need to get something done, we have to get our kids to school, or we have to hand in something or deliver something for a client. We get it done. We get it done no matter what. So there's certain things that we know how to get done because in our brains, we give them that level of importance. So we actually have the skills to achieve the things that we really need to achieve, right? But how do we bring that skill set to achieve the things we really want to achieve, especially when we don't even know what it is that we want to achieve, which really is, I would argue, to be happy. I think we all want to just be happy and to be fulfilled, right? And to have that deep life satisfaction where, as my slogan says, where you wake with passion, you live with purpose, and you sleep with peace, right? I think that's what a lot of us might aspire to. And so here's the thing. So when I taught this masterclass and I was getting this sort of like, well, I was getting good feedback too, but when I was getting this sort of these questions are like, well, but this is teaching me how to master getting things done, right? So how does that help me if I'm actually thinking I need to spend more time with my family, or I need to improve my relationship or my health, and be more present, and also need to learn how to psychologically relax and enjoy, right? And also sleep, right? All of these things are really, really important. And so that's the thing. It's about learning how to direct your attention and how to change, how to recognize, how to connect those goals, the goals of happiness, the goals of fulfillment, the things that will get you there, are just as important or more important than the other things that you're doing. And I say just as or more as because, like, okay, making a living is very important. You have to put food on the table, right? You have to be able to eat, right? Up to a certain point, right? Do you have to build an empire? I think a lot of my male clients get stuck in this. There's nothing wrong with building an empire or conquering the world. No, don't conquer the world. That's evil. We should cooperate. But no, all jokes aside, I think it's a lot of, and not just men, but women too. They want to build things. They want to like sometimes have something that they can be proud of, that they've done, they've accomplished. But they can get lost in this cycle of like, it's never enough. And when you have kids, you can also get, I've seen this so much with dads, where they just want to spend time so badly with their kids, especially when they're young. But they're like, oh, I have to keep working because my son or my daughter, I really want to provide them the best. I want to maybe send them to private school, or I want to be able to pay for their education or whatever. Which I wonder how relevant it's going to be with AI. But anyways, that's a whole other story. They still need to be educated. But nevertheless, so I get that drive, right? But you get so pigeonholed, and you miss out on the experience of life and actually being together. And actually, for me, that's what life is about. It's about the experience of life. Let that experience be amazing. And so that is spending time together, that is enjoying the quality of life, that is making sure you have the body, the physical vitality to do that, the health to do that. And of course, there is room for productivity, for growth, for conquering the world, although I'm not a proponent of conquering the world, but living into your full potential, building things, leaving a legacy, whatever kind you want. And that place, by the way, is important. It is important. An important aspect of feeling fulfilled is to actually feel like you are being productive, you are growing, you are building constantly, right? But the part that gets draining and leads to unfulfillment is when we get so lost in that, and we deprive ourselves of the celebration. We think it's like, oh, celebration is like when I achieve something, right? The end goal. But then those celebrations get smaller, they are non-existent, and we are not enjoying the journey, right? And there's absolutely a way to do both. So I guess what I was thinking about at the end of the masterclass was like, why do I have the 3 pillars in this order? Clarity, knowing, getting clear on what you want in life, spending a lot of time on that, reflecting, go to the spa, go to the sauna, have a bath, go for long walks, get clear on what you really want. And then next, the strategy, right? So that's like, what skills do I need to develop? Maybe it is meditation, maybe it's being present, maybe it's giving myself the time to work on a hobby or something that's creative, or blocking time with my family and setting goals in my relationship, right? Like, what kind of quality relationship do I want with my intimate partner? Really putting those skills, those people don't think about putting those skills to these so-called soft, fluffy goals that are actually the richest, deepest things. You don't have to have one or the other. You can master both, and that's the 3rd pillar, is mastery, right? So it's like people want to be in the 3rd pillar. Meaning they they don't know what the 3rd pillar is, but what the result of the 3rd pillar is having a fulfilling life and living with deep life satisfaction. And so what that is it's once you are having daily routines and rituals that are supporting your body and your health, your mind, you are organized in how you execute your visions and what you want for your business, your work, your life, your health, your family, your free time, your personal, fun, creative goals, your contribution goals, whatever they might be, so you have a system for that. I'm a big fan of systems. I have obviously my own system, the Fulfilled Life system, but you are the master of your life. You can develop your own system or pick from any other system, but there has to be a way, whether, you're putting it in the calendar, you're organizing it, you're not letting life just slip by, because if you let life slip by, you miss that progress piece. And that progress piece is essential for fulfillment. But I'm going to say it again, I think the 3rd or 4th time. You have to make sure the progress piece is in the right category, right? So maybe it is work, but then you also have to have the progress piece at home, and you also have to have a balance, and you can't get lost so much in the progress piece where you're not enjoying it, and it's not a fulfilling thing anymore. So coming back to that mastery piece, there's just so much I want to say. The mastery piece is like, if you try to follow conventional advice, right? That like, I'm burnt out, I have a great everything, but I don't feel happy. What do I do? Google, and then they're like some guru or whoever's like, well, sit on a cushion, meditate an hour a day. Like that'd be great. Go to an ashram, whatever, right? Maybe that you could do that, and that will definitely help. But you're at the point where like, okay, yeah, I'll do that, and then you just go back to your old habits and routines because your brain patterns are super strong, right? So you need to master the second pillar of mastering your psychology on following through for fulfillment, for things that will fulfill you. So how do you use what's already in your brain, what's already working, your patterns that are already working, and point them towards fulfilling, towards executing tasks and time blocks that are working towards your happiness. And only then, when you start to taste a little bit of this happiness, right? A little bit of this fulfillment, a little bit of this deeply rich, soulful progress, because it's like, oh, you're letting yourself breathe again. In some ways, you're letting yourself be a kid again. You'll start to reconnect with that wonderful essence that you felt and maybe forgot when you were a child, when life was free of problems and cares, and you just could enjoy a simple thing, right? And so once you start to taste that, right, that'll be the time when, okay, you're not going to be necessarily a master because your brain still has some old patterns of thinking about work and not being present and not knowing how to let go and like, so some other things. But since you've mastered the follow through and you now know that it's important to direct it towards your fulfillment goals, that's when you can start to add more layers, right? In the mastery piece. So that's when maybe you would add a meditation practice, or you would invest in some technology or course or something where that will help you further that mastery piece where it becomes really embodied and a part of your daily life. So there's a lot. The fulfilled life method I put into 3 pillars, but it's like so comprehensive that just explaining it to you would take a really long time, because the goal is a complete life transformation. It's living in a way that you are healthy, happy, vibrant. You're going to have a long and active, happy, dynamic life, and a fulfilled life where you are feeling joyous and amazing and having that deep life satisfaction, right? And of course, that doesn't mean that you don't have anger or sadness or problems. Problems are a sign of life. You are supposed to have problems. You just have better quality problems, right? So, and you have a better experience of life overall. And that is absolutely possible. So, I think that's all I wanted to say on the topic, my burning thoughts, and I want to thank you for watching today and being with me. And if I'd love to hear from you, so leave your comments. Remember to like, share, follow, all that good stuff, and hope to see you engaging, with me, so that we can get further in this journey together. Right? I'm on a journey too, and I love to hear your input as well. So take good care. Remember to wake with passion, to sleep with peace. To wake with passion, and then to live with purpose, and then to sleep with peace, because you want a full day, right? Take care.